Okay, so far in this section, what we've discussed is this, the context of which a function is invoked under. And just to recap, the context of which a function is invoked under is the this keyword, and it almost always refers to the call site of a function as far as what's on the left-hand side of the dot operator. Of course, we can change that with call, apply, and bind, and we've discussed that as well. But there's also another way that we can kind of manipulate this variable and have it be different than what we traditionally would be expecting. And this comes from a new feature from ES2015, formerly known as ES6. Basically, it's no longer the next version of JavaScript. It is the current version of JavaScript now that we're in 2016. And I wanted to show you guys this awesome feature because it doesn't make it so we don't have to ever use call, apply, or bind. We'll still have to use those regularly, especially for doing high-level functional or meta programming. But this feature fixes an issue that we saw earlier in this section, and I'll just go ahead and write some code that illustrates that again. And let's go ahead and let's do a var person again. Super inspired example. Name, let's do first name is Nelson, or let's see. Now we want to do the person database example. I think I'm just going to, or we could use a set timeout example. That works too. Let's do print name delayed is a function, and print name delayed is going to use the window.setTimeout function. So we're going to do window.setTimeout. So function, and we'll set a timeout for 1 second, and we'll do console log this dot first name, and then we're just going to simply invoke person dot print name delayed. Okay, so we've discussed this in depth a lot, so we should understand why it's printing undefined, because the this right here is not the this that is associated with this person. And there's a couple ways to fix this. As we've seen before, I can go ahead and in this function I can wrap it in parentheses, and I can do dot bind this. That works. See how it prints Nelson? So we bound this this function expression to the this argument, or the this context that was available from within this function. But another way we can solve it, we've already seen that as well. We can alias out this into that. That equals this, and then instead of doing this, we use that, and we print that, and that'll of course magically work. But there's another way in the new version of JavaScript, and that is using what are called arrow functions or fat arrow functions. Fat arrow functions are really cool because not only are they more compact than this function expression, but they have some interesting behavior with this keyword. So let's go ahead and remove that alias there and replace this with or replace that with this, right? And we get undefined, but I'm going to use the fat arrow function instead. So I'm going to delete the function keyword, and I'm just going to go ahead and do a greater than symbol, and I'm going to refresh, and it's going to work. The fat arrow function, you can think of it as being equivalent to binding this callback to the lexically scoped this in the function above it. So the this carries forward, and in fact we can nest this as deep as we want. I can say window.setTimeout. Maybe after 1 second we'll do another fat arrow, and we'll say console log this first name 500. I'll explain the syntax in a moment here. We get Nelson, and then 500 milliseconds again we get Nelson. So every time I nest with this fat arrow function, the this carries forward for us automatically. Now let's actually take a look at, learning these ES2015 features it's very handy to jump over into Babel and actually take a look at what Babel will do to try to compile this code to run on an older browser that doesn't support this feature yet. So I'm going to open up the Babel REPL, and I'm going to paste the code in. And as you see, behind the scenes, effectively what's going on is it's simply aliasing out the this into the upper scope. So it's doing what we were already doing with the that variable, but it's doing that for us automatically behind the scenes. So I think that's fantastic. Anyway, let's go ahead and talk about the syntax of the fat arrow function. And again, the fat arrow function you can use in any browser. any modern browser that is, or in the Node environment. If you need to target older browsers, you would use a transpiler such as Babel to convert it into code that's understood by older browsers. I have a course about all of this, including more information about the fat arrow syntax and all the other ES2015 features in my Using Modern JavaScript Today course. But anyway, let's go ahead and talk about the syntax just a little bit, because earlier, remember way back when we were talking about scoping, I said there are 3 ways to define a function. Well, in ES2015, that's no longer true. We can use fat arrow. So I can say const, sorry, I got an ES2015 mode for a second there. We'll do var my function equals arrow function console log hello world. And I can invoke my function. So that's a way that we can create a fat arrow function. Notice how I don't have any curly braces. So this makes the code super compact. So the way the syntax works is we start off with a set of parentheses, then we do a fat arrow, and then we have 2 options. If we only have 1 line of code, we don't need curly braces. But if we had 2 lines of code, such as my function 2, we would need to use curly braces, such as this. So that's another way to do that. If we need arguments, so I can say var my function 3, we can do arg goes into, and then console log my function 3 plus arg. And now we can do my function 3 and pass in an argument, such as 10. That'll work as well. My function 3 colon 10. So as you see, if we need 1 argument, we don't need to provide the parentheses. We can optionally if we want. Again, this part is the parameter list. And if we have 1 function, we don't need to provide those parentheses, and we can just do that. You can mix and match. You can, of course, have a multi-line fat arrow function if you want, just like what we have up here. And if we wanted to accept multiple function or multiple parameters, such as like, let's do an add function. We could do equals. We now, because we want to accept multiple parameters, we'll have to put in our parentheses. So we'll do left, right, goes into console log left plus right equals left plus right, and now we can do add 10, 10, and we should get 20. And we do. 10 plus 10 equals 20. So so again, if we want multiple parameters, we have to put in the parentheses. If we don't, we will get a syntax error, as you see right there. There's a couple other ways, a couple other things to know about fat arrow functions. Again, I'm kind of just running through the syntax really quickly. You can obviously find all these examples online. But let's go ahead and do a var return result, add return result equals left, right, goes into left plus right. By the way, to pronounce this, you would pronounce this as left, right, goes into. This symbol right here is pronounced goes into left plus right. So now we have a function that it's going to return a value. So I can say console log add return result 5, 5. And return statements, if you only have 1 line of code and you don't use curly braces, everything is implicitly returned. So as you see, 10 is indeed printed out there. If we did have multiple lines, let's say multiply or mul return result equals left, right, goes into, when we open up a curly brace. If we are using curly braces, we have to specifically say return left plus right. So those are the rules. Again, if you have 0 parameters, you just do empty parentheses. If you have 1 line of code, you do not need curly braces. If you have multiple lines of code, you need curly braces. If you have 1 argument, you do not need parentheses. If you have more than 1 argument, you will need parentheses. And if you want to return something in a single line, you don't need a return statement. But if you want to return something in a multi-line, you must use a return statement. But that's just going over the syntax. The most important thing to get from this particular video is the awesome behavior, the added behavior of the this being pulled in from the outside scope without having to use call, apply, bind, without having to alias out our this into a local variable. We can just use arrow functions and it just carries over magically for us, and I think that's awesome. It makes writing, just the syntax itself, regardless of how it deals with this, makes writing some functional things a lot easier. Remember that map function where I do var array equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and let's say I want to multiply each one of these numbers by 2. I could say console log array.map function item, and I can say return item times 2. Well, think for a sec. How could we clean this code up substantially by using arrow functions? Well, we'll go ahead and write that out. Console log array.map, and then do item goes into item times 2. And we get the exact same result. So as you see, it significantly cleans up code when we're passing in functions. Whenever you see the fat arrow, a function is being created. And you'll oftentimes see this sort of syntax described as a lambda as well. And if, again, of course, if we were to take this into our Babel online transpiler doohickey thing, we'll see that, I'll go ahead and do both these examples. We'll see that they are indeed absolutely 100% equivalent in what they do. It's just cleaner syntax. So, yeah. So that is arrow function syntax. And there's not a whole lot else to say about it other than it hoists up or closes under, however you want to say that, this context from the function that it was invoked from. So it allows us to write a lot cleaner code. And with that, I guess we're done with the arrow syntax, and we'll see you guys in the next video.